Hello everybody, Demon Red Mist here. Been a while. Trying to think, my last video was I uploaded it a few weeks ago, but the work that I did was from a few weeks before, so it has been a while. And on my last video, I mentioned I think the last thing that I did was I filled in a couple of holes on this backing piece. Now. I haven't done anything yet since then, because with the backing piece I needed to wait and let it dry, but I've not been able to get over here and do any of this. Now the drawers are still at my house and I haven't actually started masking taping them up yet. I've not been very motivated recently, but when I have been motivated to do something, it's not quite gone to plan, and then it dents the motivation. Now obviously I'm here today and I've got a bit of time. It's so hot, even though I've got a fan on me. It is really hot. I mean, it's cooler in here than it is outside. I don't know what temperature it is outside, but I reckon it's up near 30s, if not higher. It is really horribly hot. So today, I've got a couple of plans for today. One is with this backing piece. I would like to get this backing piece finished today, right? That is my ultimate goal. What that's going to entail is, well, interestingly, I'll show you on this backing piece. Okay, so on the last video I showed me just gently sanding these two holes, these two holes, and I mentioned that I could see the stuff moving a little bit, so I needed to let it dry. And it's a good job that I spotted it and I let it, because these have actually sunk in a little bit, right? So although yes, this still needs sanding and cleaning up a little bit on the top, around the hole still needs a little bit of filling in, right? So that's something that I need to do today. However, these two holes, it's hard to tell if they've sunk in, but once I've sanded them I'll find out. So basically I've got a little bit more mixing and gluing to do today, and I want to get that done as soon as possible to give it as long as possible today to dry, so that I can then do the little touch-ups of varnish on the holes, and try and get it to match in, and then get this finished so that this could effectively then be put in place. Now once this is done, that means that with the base unit, the only thing that's left to do is one clear coat on around the sides. I did a bit of research over the last week or two about whether you can put stain, like the mahogany varnish, on top of clear varnish. Now it says that you can, but you have to do quite a bit of preparation work, roughing up the surface so that it will actually bond. Because the idea of clear varnish is that it is there to see, stain soaks into the wood, varnish sits on that stain and protects it. So to then try and put stain on it, there's a good chance it's not going to work properly. It's not going to penetrate the varnish. So you have to do quite a bit of preparation work. So I've decided that what I'm going to do, I'm not going to mess about with the sides and the base. I'm going to go for another clear coat of varnish and see how it comes up. If it needs a third, then I'll go for that option. So yeah, now I'm not planning on doing the bottom of the unit today. That's not part of my plan. My main plan is just this backing piece, which doesn't sound a lot, but it's a bit time consuming. My secondary plan is, I mentioned about my mum and her pond area in the garden, and that I'm going to have a couple of gates to make. So one of the things that I want to try and do today is get the wood together, all cut up, all prepared, so that that wood can then be treated before it gets put together. If I don't treat it, it'll just end up rotting, and then it'd have to be done again. So I'd rather basically get one of the gates all ready to basically just screw together, and then coat it with Creocoat, I think it is, my dad called it. It's a newer version of creosote, which is now you're not allowed to use unless you're an industrial company or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so with that, I mean, okay, I would like to get all the wood together and cut and blah blah blah, but if I don't, I'm not too worried, I'm not too fussed, but as long as I could make a start on it. The only thing is I need a little bit of space to be able to really lay those bits of wood out, and I haven't got a lot of space at the moment. Anyway, so yeah, I think the only thing that I can do really is to crack on and get these little holes sorted out. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Right, let's go. Update time. Don't know how long it's been. Not that long since the last clip. And I've done a bit of sanding on this piece. I don't know, my arms hurt. Just trying to lift this piece of wood and my arms hurt. Okay, got these two holes here. These are the two that were divoted slightly, and then we've got these two which look a bit nasty at the moment. Now I've spent quite a bit of time with a fine sander. I actually had to go to a slightly coarser fine sander because my fine sander wasn't taking enough off. And whereas it kind of looks like these are fucking big zits, there's a dark ring with a light spot in the middle. The dark ring is, I think that's where sort of the glue was sort of bonded with the varnish, and I've been trying to sand it down, but it could take a long time, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. I probably should keep going at it, but this unit ain't perfect, right? It's meant to show that it's been used over the years. Now what it has made me think is that with these two divoted holes, I mean it is only a slight divot, but what I'm concerned of is that if I try and add an extra bit of glue and varnish into these, wood dust into these, I need sanding a touch more. Yeah, I'm concerned that the glue could fuck things right up, because you look at how much sanding I've had to do there, and obviously I need to try and relayer that varnish that I've taken off, and that's 3 coats of varnish. So I don't know how well I'm going to be at blending this in. So rather than have to do it 4 times or twice, I'm just going to do it the once there. So for these, I'm just going to go with them. I will treat. I mean, there are, you can see like the sort of sanding area. So I will get my trusty cotton buds, dip them in varnish, and I will initially treat the. That's got a bit of wood dust on it. The dust. Get plenty of varnish on that without trying to get it everywhere, and then I will gently try and blend it in. Now I've never tried doing anything like that before, so I'm into new territory with that. So I'm gonna have to just see how that goes really, and there's only one thing that I can do, and that is to just give it a try. So that's exactly what I am going to do. So yeah, it is bloody hot. I mean, it's been a long time doing this unit, a long time, and okay, there's been times where I've not been able to but I know it's going to be worth it by the time it's finished. I'm kind of feeling like, when will it end? And obviously I've still got the drawers to do, but I'm not too concerned about them, because the hardest part of that is masking taping them up, which I need to do at home. So admittedly, one of the reasons why I haven't started masking them up yet is because I didn't have a suitable knife for cutting out the bits of masking tape that I'd need to cut out. So on Amazon I bought a scalpel. Figured why not. A lot of people use them in model making and stuff like that. So I've got a scalpel that I can use to do because it is only a gentle, fine cut of the masking tape without trying to fucking cut myself open. And yeah, once they're masking taped up, then that's easy. But I've mentioned that a few times already. So yeah, I'm gonna see how I get on with my dapping and not like that. I know that was a shit attempt, but fuck it. Right, let's crack on. Okay, I've done my first attempt at treatment, and let's see, can you see where the holes were? Yeah, okay, you can see those ones. Now, they obviously were sanded quite a bit more, so that's going to take a little more, a few more coats really to get that done. But to be fair, the other holes, okay, now you can see them, but only because they're dimples. I've got to say that has blended in quite nicely. Now obviously I didn't do anywhere near as deep a sanding job on that one, but yeah, that gives me confidence. I mean, it still needs another coat, but it gives me confidence about this bit. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time to dry, and I am literally applying, sorry, fingers in the way of the camera. I am literally getting the cotton bud quite soaked and letting it drip onto the actual repair bit. Then I'm giving it a good rub over the whole thing. Then I am actually wiping all of the varnish off with the other end of the cotton bud, and then smoothing it all out. And it's working, so I'm going to crack on with that. Rightio, I'm done with my little repair. It might not be that easy to see. I mean, you can still see them, but the holes I expected, or the divots I expected, I mean, okay, that's not perfect, but it's not intended to be perfect, is it? So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to try and get a clear coat of varnish on it now and try and get it done. So let's crack on. Hello everybody. Okay, the backing piece. It has had the repair completed. One coat of clear varnish. Then 2 coats of clear varnish. I'm fucked. But I've put it in place. I've put it in position. I've only got 2 screws holding it on at the moment. And that's because I mentioned on one of the other videos about, I think I found the original screws, right? Admittedly, when I told my dad, he was like, no fucking chance. I was like, you sure? And then he goes, well, I did keep the bit of wood. I was like, yeah, you did. And he keeps screws. So one of my concerns was that these are actually quite big screws, and for the piece of wood that's on, 5 of these I think would have been a little bit OTT. So I was a little concerned that yes, these fit the holes in the backing plate, but would the holes in the unit be big enough to receive them? Because what I wouldn't have wanted, or what I wouldn't want, I don't want, is to put one of the screws in and then it split the top. So I've only gone with 2 screws at the moment, and they've gone all the way in. They are a little tight, but I'd rather it be a little tight, but it doesn't feel like I've been creating a new hole with it. They've screwed in okay. I do obviously still need to get the other 3 in and make sure and tighten it up, but to be honest, it's in an awkward position for me to, ideally I'd like to be able to just stand behind it and go, but it's not in that position, and I haven't got any help here today to move it. So yeah, so in a second I will show the backing piece. Now, one of the reasons why I've pushed myself a bit much today, it doesn't sound like I've varnished a bit of wood, it's not a lot, but I have pushed myself. And one of the reasons for that is that I needed to get that done and attached to free up my work table that I'm using, or my IKEA table, that I'm using. I need to clear that so that I can basically mock up a gate and then see if it'll actually fit. Annoyingly, with the gate, I mentioned before about digging the holes and the problems with that and putting the posts in. We got the last 2 posts in last week, I think, even though the holes were dug the week before, or something like that, I can't remember. The post went in last week, and to be honest, they went in quite. One of them was a bit tougher. It was a bit tough to get in, but to be fair, I think it's just because the ground was quite hard. The second one, there had been some water in the hole, so that one went in quite nicely. Now, the postcrete that we used is very quick setting, and literally we poured the postcrete into the water, because basically what you do, you get a hole, you fill it with water, or don't fill it, leave a nice big gap at the top. To be honest, I made this mistake and had it fucking pouring out everywhere, because basically if you fill your bathtub to the top and then you get in the bathtub, water's going to spill out the top. It's the same thing with postcrete. So you put water in the hole, and then you're supposed to put water in the hole, then position the post, then put the postcrete in, and then hold it in position, make sure it's all lined up, and then it was set. I didn't think of that. I was absolutely buggered when we finished doing it. Literally, I put the postcrete into the water and the post was in, and it was positioned quite nicely. Went and sat down, and literally 10 seconds later I didn't check the levels after putting the postcrete in, so I quickly checked it, and the top of one of them was just leaning over a bit. So when it comes to the gates, I'm a bit pissed off with myself, to be honest, because when it comes to the gates, I expected a bit of a difference in distances of the posts from top to bottom. I thought there's a chance. Right. So I mean, it's just a rough pair of gates, so it doesn't matter that much. So one of them, the gap between the 2 posts at the top is 97 centimetres, and at the bottom it's 95 centimetres. 2 centimetre difference. I don't mind that. I've got to put a packing piece on one side anyway, that the gate would, when you close the gate, you've got your gate post, but you have a bit of packing wood next to it, so the gate will come up to it. So that 2 centimetre difference is nothing. It's covered. On the one that I forgot to check the level on, it's 85 centimetres between the posts at the top, but at the bottom it's 90 centimetres. Now that 5 centimetres, that's a big fucking problem, because that would mean that the packing piece I need would effectively need to be 5 centimetres deep at one point near the bottom. So effectively, potentially a 6 centimetre piece of wood added on to the post as a packing piece. Pissed off with myself with that. But what I figured I might be able to do to try and save myself a little bit is not necessarily ignore the 5 centimetres, but have the packing piece, doesn't have to go all the way, doesn't have to be all full length, it can be closer to the top, so I could have it similar size, 3 centimetres, and should be alright. But I want to mock up the gates. So basically what I've done is I have got 2 pieces of wood here, which are 90... yeah, 94 centimetres in length, right? So the gate where it was 97 and 95, I've decided to cut these pieces 94, so that's effectively the width of the gate, with a bit of leeway on each side, right? So basically what I want to do with these is attach these to a couple of what will be the face of the gate. Now I've only cut 3 of these, so I can effectively make a box with a middle bar, and then we can take that over to where the gate would be and just double check its sizes. So the reason I need the table clear is so that I can lay these pieces of wood down and screw them together, because unfortunately there isn't any room here to do that. But anyway, I'm going to show you the backing piece in place, so I'm going to do that now. Now obviously that's not the backing piece, but I will say I learned my lesson. I have uncovered the unit. I got a big sheet, covered it up last time I worked on it, so that any dust would fall on the sheet, not the unit, and I'm glad I fucking did. Also the sheet's white, so I get to see how much dust and shit has been falling on it, and it's a lot. But anyway, so that's the unit the top of the unit as we know, and there is the backing piece. Now I've got to admit, I am quite happy with that. The colour's right, it looks tidy. Can you see me repairs? Not really, not unless you look for them. So I'm happy with that, very happy with that. But as you can see, trying to get in that gap, that's not happening. I've got I have shits wider than that. I don't. But yeah, so it's only held on by 2 screws at the moment. I'll wait until this unit ends up on top of my work table, which obviously that ain't happening today, because I do still need to add another clear coat on the sides and everything. And I want that on the table to do that. It's so much easier to do it on the table. Once that's done, the sides and the front, with that last clear coat, that piece is complete. Which leaves me the door, and you can see all the shit that's been falling on that. That's why I put it up there upside down, so at least any shit that falls on it falls on the inside. So I still need to clear coat that, but I'm waiting to clear coat that until that is complete, to make sure the colour matches, because I don't know if the door needs another what's the word, mahogany. I'm going to go with, yeah, that's what it's called, another mahogany layer, stain, that's the word I was looking for. So anyway, yeah, so the backing piece is done, the top is done, the bottom is nearly done. I must admit, every time I see the top of this, I mean, I do kind of feel a bit proud, but at the same time, because it's not finished and it's still got the masking tape, it does bug me. But seeing the difference of that at the top of that unit now is wonderful. Really, it really does cheer me up every time I see it. And I did the other day. I went through. Hang on a sec. I went through all of the old pictures, because what I've been doing with these videos is whenever I've taken pictures, and I will take pictures of this bit, and I put them onto my computer, I basically, every time I do a video, I stick all the clips and the photos into a new folder. But then I go into the new folder, take a copy of all of the pictures and stick them into a folder that has got all the other pictures in. So what I'm going to do when I finish this is, obviously I'm going to reveal the completed unit, hopefully, but I'm also going to put a video up showing pictures from start to finish, and then at the end of that perhaps a quick initial not initial, but a quick side by side. This is what it was like before I started, and here it is done. So you get an elongated view of all the images, not all the images, but the progression, and then an instant before and after. But I've got to say, me and my folks are very happy with how it's been coming along. Obviously, they never set a time scale on it, neither did I. They probably would have preferred it to have been done by now, but they understand that I can't do things quickly. And when I did one of the first videos of this, I said, hopefully it will look really, really good when it's done. But even if it doesn't, it'll look better than it did before I started. So, does it look better than before I started? Too fucking right it does. That box is checked, and I've not even finished. Which I must admit does help with the motivation, because I've done that. No one else has sanded it. No one else has done the repairs on it. No one else has done the varnishing on it. I've done that. It's taken a fucking long time. And knowing me, it's still going to take a while. But anyway, progress has been made. The goal I set myself for today has been achieved. I can be happy with that. I am starving, so I don't think I'm going to be getting much else done today. I do want to get this mock gate put together so I can at least check it. If I'm up to it, I will see if I can do the second one, because if I could at least get both of them, the basic information found out, like, okay, does it need to be narrower? Because with the hinges that I've got, is it going to be able to open easily the size that it is? So there's a few questions that I need to sort of answer, and I've never made a gate, so I don't know what problems I may come up against. Now, it's only through sort of, the only thing I've done with gates is retighten screws and attach latches. Now, through doing things like that, obviously I have learnt a few things, like I mentioned about with this packing piece. It would have been so easy for me to completely forget about that, but doing what I'm doing now would have let me know, because I'd basically look at it, put it in position and go, oh fucking hell, there's nothing to stop it. Okay, there might be a latch on it, but and then I'd be able to go, okay, if I put a packing piece there, I'll be alright. But then, to be fair, all I need to do is go through a gate and look at it, and to be fair, I have been doing that recently. So, I mean, the design I'm using as a base design for the actual gate is the same as my parents' front gate, because it's there, took a picture and went, okay, and that's a sturdy gate, so hopefully if I copy that design I should be alright. But I am aware that on that gate, for example, there are quite a few packing pieces at different points, like where the latches are, and things like that. So there's a few fiddly things that may need to be dealt with, but we'll get there. I do, though, want to get this mock piece put together, and I might take a quick picture of that. But anyway, I might show you the gates, because I might show you the pond. I've not decided. Should I do a Dave Gets Wet? No. Ah, dear. Anyway, so it's fucking hot. It really is hot. It's hot and I'm hungry. I don't know what the time is. But I'm gonna get cracked on with this. It's so tempting to just sit here and waffle, or sit here and go, you know, I'm done for the day. But I've been too unmotivated recently. to do stuff. So while I'm kind of got the bug, I need to try and do what I can because it'll help further down the line. So I'm going to disappear. I'll be back in a few. Right, well, it doesn't look like much, but that is the mock gate. Now there will be another piece of timber that goes from sort of that corner over to that corner and many more slats. But just to see if I can fit it right or it's going to work, that's why we've got the mock gate. Okay, last update of the day. I got the second gate template basically cut and screwed together, and I've checked both gates. Now the first one, where there was only like a 2 centimetre difference from top of the post to the bottom, that's not bad actually, but I may have to fit the hinge onto them and then check with the hinge on the post as well, because it's either going to be snug fit or sort of fits perfectly, or it's going to hit and I'm going to have to do a tiny bit of sanding. The second gate, where there was a 5 centimetre difference from top of the post to the bottom, I got to admit I didn't think it'd be too bad, but when I put the base gate, as I'm going to call it, in between the posts, the gap for the top is fine, not a problem, but then at the bottom, it fucking, yeah. I could get a big enough piece of wood to just cover it, so cover the gap and it'll be fine. But I'm a bit concerned about putting a piece of wood that's that, I mean 6 centimetres, 5 centimetres, whatever it fucking is. It's actually probably more than 5 centimetres. It's a big gap to cover, and if the gate is banging against it, it could weaken the wood. So now I did wonder about having the top of the gate the size I've got at the moment, but then at the bottom of the gate just going bigger to cover the gap. That'd work, it would, but then my gate would be an odd shape, and yeah, as though although that would fix that issue, it would create others. So I'm definitely gonna have to think about that one. I don't think the hinges will be a problem on that one though. So yeah, baffled me. It was, I wouldn't say baffled me. I need to work out the best way to solve the issue. Something that I'm not gonna have to keep fixing or checking or just simply look shit. I mean, to be fair, it's not meant to be decorative. It's just a functional gate in the garden rather than something pretty. So yeah. Fucked, knackered. It's been a really hot day today. It was coolish in here earlier, but now it's hotter in here than it is outside. I still haven't had anything to eat yet, so I'm going to need to get going soon. I think it's about 7:30 in the evening. So I think I'm done. I am done for today. At least now I know what issues I'm going to have or may potentially have when it comes to finishing off the gates. So yeah, I mean, in a way, I'm kind of looking forward to having them done. It's a it's technically it's a simple task, but it's something that I've not been able to get done yet, and I don't like leaving things undone. Um, but anyway, tired. I've not really managed been able to fuss the dogs today. Mum's been keeping them not locked up, but keeping them out of the sun today, and I've been over here for most of the day. But when I popped back into the garden with the gate a moment ago, they would, because they were in the house, they were moaning at me. Basically, want me to play with them. Now that might be because I bought them both a frisbee last week. George fucking loved it. Harry shit scared of it. But anyway, right. Not that you needed to see me have a drink, but that's it. I'm done. I'm fucking off. And hopefully, next time, what am I going to do next time? Well, next time is one of two things, really. Finish the gates, which I would like to do. I do want to get them done. So I could finish the gates, or as long as I can get some help to move the unit, could get the bottom half of that completed. I mean, they're both tasks that I want to do, but they're both tasks that could take a bit of time. I think, to be honest, I'll do the gates, because once the gates are done, that sorts Mum out with the garden, with what she's wanting to do there. Makes life a lot easier for her. So if I get that done, I don't have to worry about that at all, and then I can focus on the unit. And if I don't get any of the unit done next week, no problem. What I'll try and do this week and next week is to get the drawers taped up. And the reason I say this week and next week is I know it's going to be a fiddly job. I know I'm not going to enjoy it. I know it's going to be a bit fucking tedious. So it could take a while. There's 9 drawers. If I was able to do one a day, then obviously it's more than a week. Because I still want to be able to, once I've got everything else done here, I want to be able to bring those drawers back, put them all on the table and finish them off. That'll be the final piece. Well, no, it won't. The final piece is still the drawer handles, which I'm still looking. But yeah. As good as the internet is, I'd much rather be able to just go somewhere that has old brass handles. Trying to find somewhere that has old brass handles that you can just go to, not so fucking easy. I don't know. Right, anyway, I'm gone. See you later. Join us again, if you want, for more Dave Gets Wood. See you in a bit.